I'm Sabrina, and I've decided to start a YouTube channel. Will be my second video on my channel in a week. I filmed changing my daughter's colostomy bag. It's a little choppy, and I'm getting better at this. This one will be an edited video, not my raw thing I said I was going to do. That might just be for kind of more vloggy type videos. This is more like educational / vlog. I don't know what to call it, but it's about how to change colostomy on a baby. Okay, day has come where I'm gonna show the internet how I change my daughter's colostomy bag. Changing any colostomy is different for every person and every infant, but I'm going to show you how we change my daughter's. First, I'll show you what we use, and then I'll show you the steps, and then halfway through I'm going to have to kind of stop because I bath her on her, she gets her bag changed twice a week, and I bath her on those days. So, let me show you. First we have this box of, it's probably backwards, but Hollister pouchkins. They are newborn ostomy pouches. So we also got a thing of scissors, little tiny stitch removal scissors. This is to put it on with. This is no sting skin prep. And we have, I don't know if I have a half one or not. I do. So these go underneath the flange, which I'll show you in a minute. See? Underneath. It's the Adapt Cera Ring Slim. So Cera means ceramide, and ceramide is a adhesive that is like, it works with the bonds in your skin somehow. It's actually really cool and really scientific, and I know nothing about it except that it's what we use on her colostomy. So,
hey Mama, stop
what? Maybe he went to the washroom. So this is a new box, and I already took the stickers out and gave them to my son. But there's also these things that you don't need. They're if you want to cut the valve off the bottom of the bag and use that instead, which you don't want to do that. No, you just don't. The only reason I could think of is maybe you could. No, there's no reason. I've never tried. I don't want to try. So this is the flange. And I cut it to the size of my daughter's colostomy. And this is the bag, and this comes off and sticks here. So first we're gonna cut the flange to the size we need, and I do that right now. I start out by doing it by taking the old one that I took off from the adhesive, because this is the adhesive side. Yes, I can hear you. Take that off, and I use it as my guide to cut a new one. And I try to change the position of like right now it's really far over this way, and I'm gonna move it so that the skin that has been in contact with the flange gets a little bit of a break this time. So I'm gonna take a pen, and I'm just gonna color it in. And I usually have to make small adjustments right before I stick it to her too, to make sure that it's actually the same size, because it has changed quite a lot since she got it, because it grows with her. So now, see, I have it drawn. What I'm going to do, poke, just cut, pretty basic there. And then there's some tips and tricks that I have picked up since having her home that I don't think they would do in the hospital, and this is more for like specifically what works for Kinsley. And because when I first got out of the hospital and got home, we were having a lot of leaking issues, and sorry, that's a car alarm outside. We were having a lot of leaking issues, mostly because I think she was being moved around more than she was when she was in the hospital. And so I was having to try to find a way to make them stick better, and I was like, it was this part not attaching to the bag properly, and I was like, what's happening? And I was freaking out. But I've got it figured out now. So I try to look at, this is the part that's going to go towards her belly button this time, I think, if I flip it over. Yes, so this will go closer to her belly button. And that was a part that was leaking. So now, it says do not cut beyond this line, which means the oval on the flange. But I break the rules, and not big cuts, just tiny little, call it feathering, just around the outside of the flange, so that it's not just like a rough piece of line of adhesive that's getting attached to her. It's like a cog in a wheel, kind of. And when I get to the spot that's going to be by her belly button, I do them closer together so that they are going to stick better right around her belly button, and it's going to more contour to her shape and her body rather than her body try to stick to the flange. The flange is sticking to her body. I don't know if that makes sense, but so keep cutting in here. And then, yeah, so now cut all the way around. And I don't know if you can tell that it is. Yeah, you can. See those little cuts? Those are the little cuts that you can't see on that side, but you can see on this side the little cuts from, yeah, the feathering. So then I'm going to take the bag and hold it. So I can't do this part on camera because I have to hold it up to a light and make sure that I place this on here properly, and I want it placed this way, so that it's hanging off her body, not towards and wrapping around her body, because that would just, I don't know, be weird. And I've had it where I do it up and down, and that works okay too, but I've actually found that doing it sideways makes it leak less, so, but maybe I'll switch it up again in the future. So this just gets stuck on here. I do recommend sticking it on beforehand so that you know you have it sealed properly, because when you stick it on after, you can, but it wasn't working well for me, so sticking it on beforehand works much better. So you stick that on there, like that. So this is ready. The only thing I do now is you have options here too. So I'm going to put some of this stuff away. You have options to, what am I trying to say? To heat it up. So you want to warm up the flange and to make it more, like, it makes the adhesive more pliable when you're going to stick it onto them. So what I do is I used to stick it in my bra, but I kind of wanted it a little bit more, and I would lose it because I don't know, I would just forget it was there. So I bought these and I use them for when she's gassy. They're just little, like, kind of little hot packs that you can put in the microwave. So I put it in the microwave for 20 seconds. And then I put it on the bag, and you don't want to do it any longer because it will actually melt the bag, and I have done it a couple times, and as long as she can still poop into it, it's fine if it melts these edges, but I'm going to try not to melt it. So take this and make it so it's all evenly temperatured around, move it, and then I put it just on here, and I leave it on the entire time I'm taking her bag off and bathing her. So I'm going to put this back in here. We're going to pause you guys for a little. Okay, so to continue, here are all the things I need set up to change Kinsley's colostomy bag. This is, again, the skin prep. This is adhesive remover to take it off and leave her skin more intact. This is stoma powder that you only really have to use if they're having skin breakdown, which she doesn't really have. I do put a little bit on just because when I'm changing. And then, yeah, that adapts their ring. I also, if I'm going to bath her, I use baby wipes to wipe around the stoma. If I'm not going to bath her, then I don't, because the moisturizers, this is part of the issues I was having with leaking, is the moisturizers in the baby wipes actually will make it so that the bag doesn't stick because the adhesives are getting repelled by the oils. So let's get started on the actual bag change, and then I'll have to pause you guys while I bath her. Okay, so here's Miss Kinsley. If you're coming here from our Facebook page, then you know her and why she has her colostomy, but she was a preemie and had a severe bowel infection, and it killed 2 parts of her intestines. So they removed 15 centimeters of her large colon. So this is her actual colostomy, and it's at the very beginning of her colon, her large bowel, and then so it goes ascending, transcending, descending. She is missing most of her because it comes down over here. So she has this much colon down here and this much colon over here. That's why everybody's bag changes are so different, because I've seen it where like a kid's mucus fistula is actually right next to their actual like colostomy, and that's because they just had to cut right there, and then they put the mucus fistula right next to it, and you have to like put the flange over top of the mucus fistula. But her mucus fistula is over on the other side because it's at the point where they took the 2 pieces out, because the spot that was left between the 2 spots that were dead it was just too much to try to sew it all back together, so they just left it. Hopefully with our new surgery date, we'll finally have a date for when this can be repaired, but for now, this is our life. Okay, so our next step is just to take this bag off. So what we do is, I hope I have it covered again, is we take the universal adhesive remover. So you rip it open. And I guess you could empty the bag before you change it. I just don't see a point because I'm just going to take it off anyway. And then I actually just put it inside her old diaper and wrap it all up. So this stuff is amazing. You just kind of rub it gently, and then I don't have to pull on her skin at all. It just like does, I don't know what it is. It says it's flammable, so maybe it's some sort of petrol product that, I don't know, but it does wonders to just peel this away with no pain. So sometimes you have to take the actual packet and get the liquid onto the sponge again, and then just keep wiping until the bag comes off. So there you go, it's off. Yes, sorry, I just showed you her poop in a bag. So yeah, now you can see her little colostomy. It's covered with poop. So what I'm gonna do, I save the adhesive remover because there is still adhesive, like, hold on. There is still adhesive like around where the bag just came off, but I'm gonna take this baby wipe and wipe the actual poop off. She might get upset because these wipes are kind of cold. So wipe this off, and then once the actual poop is off, she might poop more anyway. But once the actual poop is off, then I take the adhesive wipe again, and I actually like just wipe around the stoma and try to make sure I get all the old adhesive off. And it does kind of slough off but obviously you want to do all this really, really gently because the skin around the stoma is really important. Like, you don't want it to start breaking down because then you just run into all different kinds of issues. We are fortunate that we haven't had any skin breakdown. I don't know if it's because I'm good at this or she has good skin or what, but we haven't had any breakdown. Paxton never really had diaper rashes either, but this is way different. This is like, yeah. So just wipe. And then I just feel it to make sure that there's no gritty adhesive left behind anymore. Keep wiping. And yeah, there's your clean little stoma. Okay, gonna pause you guys again, give her a bath, and I'll... Okay, so this is Miss Kinsley post-bath. She hasn't pooped yet, so I'm afraid she's gonna poop if I don't work quickly. I have her covered with a towel. Gotta grab a diaper right here. So, this is her colostomy, you can see now. She might get bushy because this is gonna be cold again. So now I take this stoma powder, and just to make sure the skin is really, I dry the skin with the towel around it. And then I take this little bit of stoma powder, literally like that much, like so little, like, and then I just rub it around. It's such a minuscule amount that I use, like it's, you just rub it in a circle around the stoma. Like, I was taught by the stoma nurse to kind of blow it off, but I use so little that you don't even have to, so that, because I don't like the idea of blowing it off when she's so little with her little lungs. So then I take the skin prep and I cover her stoma with my finger, and I do 2 sprays. So I spray. That wasn't a very good spray, so I'm going to spray again. And then I'm going to turn my finger so that where my finger was sitting gets covered. And then I do this, and I just kind of like rub it around a little bit. Probably not supposed to, but that's what I do. So then we take this Adapt Sarah ring, slim, and you can adhere this to the stoma bag and then put it all on, but I like to be able to see where I'm putting it, because this, I was given thicker ones and I didn't like them. These were advised to me by actually the Hollister company, and they're great because I was breaking it off and then making it into a little like rope thing and putting it around her stoma, and that wasn't working so well. So now I take these ones and then I just have to kind of like form it to the size of her stoma. So I have to kind of stretch and pull gently. And then when it does have to be quite exact to the size of her stoma to create a proper seal, and so that it doesn't get to her skin. So that's what it looks like now. And then I put it around her stoma. And kind of, you don't have to push it because it actually like, it adheres really well. And you're going to push when you put the bag on. So, So, now we take our bag that has been warmed by the little heeple, and I take the adhesive part off first. What I like to do is hold it up to the stoma and make sure I don't need to trim anything, and I do. I always end up having to trim a little bit, just to make it sure it's the right size. So hold it right up, and honestly just a little bit of trimming, barely any at all. So I trim it. Hold it up again. And there we go. Because it has to be, again, like really close to the exact size of her stoma to create a proper seal. So now I'm going to take this backing off. And we'll keep that one again. You can always throw it out if I don't need it. And you place it over the stoma. And then I just kind of push around it, and then I hold my hand there to rewarm it again and really morph it to her body. And then I'm going to cover her up, and I'll show you what we do with her mucus fistula. Sorry, so my son has to come and go pee on the potty, but our last step is to cover this mucus fistula with, it's literally just a cotton batting, like, that you use to take off your eye makeup, Vaseline, and this special tape that is non-painful to remove. It's like $10 for this little roll, but it's really good. So yeah, and that's it. That's how you change in my daughter's colostomy bag. Okay, and that's it. That's how you change a colostomy bag. If you found this interesting, maybe give my video a like. I don't know if that'll do anything. No idea, because this is my second video ever. If you like my videos and you like the way I talk to people and you want to see more and hear more of our story and where we came from and about our family, then let me know. Okay, bye.